Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Am I streaming? Are we back? There we go. Hopefully we're all doing well. Had a good day yesterday. We'll break that trade down. I do have the link for the reel. So if anyone missed the trade yesterday, this is the trade that we took. Let the news set the scene, and then just trade the levels, right? And there's like no attachment, no emotion. Of course, not every single trade's going to work, but you don't need to know that, right? You don't need to know which ones are going to work, which ones aren't going to work. We'll do a breakdown of what we've got so far, just so you can see my screen. I haven't even been viewing this screen much. I want to get done on the day. Those targets are coming close, so see if we've had the 21 push. So I'll take some off there at the 21 push. Just move these out of the way so I don't know how many's on there. My target's been hit, so there we go. So yeah, target hit, and we'll just bring that across. Let me just see what that is. 1,922 on the day on just one account. It's over two, but like that's just one account. So pretty sick, just one trade, and it says. Apologies. So that was the trade that we took, and in terms of the setup, it was the CPI print. So I waited for CPI to print, waited for the triple diamond to set up, which is basically telling us that potential longs. We had the exhaustion on Wednesday. The CPI print created the higher low. We then waited for the RT8 session to form, and that is where I took the halfway back again. Diamond setup, and then you also had a halfway back inside. I haven't changed any of my drawings from yesterday, so everything that you see on here is pretty much the same as what it was yesterday. So I took off at that triple 23 completion, which is basically just a free negative 23 completion extensions, which is one here, the other one from the micro halfway back after the CPI, and then obviously the CPI print as well. So there was a cluster of free completions, and I think we're pretty much still at that area. So the whole overnight session is pretty much traded that same price. So I'm just going to take these extensions off, and you can see if you zoom out, you're pretty much at, or will be at, the negative 62 from yesterday's draw and the negative 100. Those both line up with or close to the ATRs for the day. Now, if I zoom out, you'll notice there is the same anchor new high from the start of the week as well. So that traded on Friday, completed on Friday session, and then traded the same anchor new high Monday and Tuesday. That 23 traded on Wednesday. Of course, that also traded the same anchor new high again, so these extensions are getting larger. But if you just keep on the draw from Tuesday, that 62 is at 23,123. The actual high is like about there, so call it like 127 would be the 62 of that draw. And again, you do have a same anchor new high on there as well, so there is two levels to pay attention to. The 23 and the 62, they both line up with the negative 100 of yesterday's CPI draw. Okay, so CPI draw is this draw here. That lines up, the negative 100 lines up with what would be the negative 23 of the same anchor new high from the week, right, which is this draw here. So those two lines line up together. So that will either be strong resistance, or strong magnet towards. So I will just use that as a potential. If I'm long, for example, I will be most likely taking targets off at those areas, because one, that'll be above ATRs for the day anyway, so that'll be a good area to take some profit, and two, it'll be of, again, 100% completion from yesterday's CPI extension and also a same anchor new high on the week. So lots of reasons to take profit if we do get into those areas. Now, going into today's session, we are going to need a pullback to be able to actually take some kind of trade. Trendline value for the day on the ETH is at 23,900s. I don't know if we're going to get down there, but if we do, it would be a full traditional or a full same anchor new high from yesterday's CPI. That would bring you down to around 23,917s. That's kind of what I would be looking at if we do get down there. That would be a nice long. And yeah, if we get it, that would be really nice to take something like that. I would love that. I don't know if we're going to get it, but I don't also need to know. I just need to know if we get there, I know what to do at that area. If we just continue to grind higher from where we are and we go into a different extension such as a high, I don't think we would go into a high to high because we've already come down to the anchor high. So I think what would most likely happen is this micro here that traded is pretty much just going to hold. So if this does hold, which is from what would be the anchor from the green diamond at 950, which is the extension I traded yesterday, the long. The traditional was at 1020, and the same anchor new high has traded on the overnight at the 50. And we've had a green diamond on that again. So double confirmation on both of those draws. I wouldn't be surprised if we come up to 24.78s. And again, ATR high of day is also lining up with the negative 62 of that draw at 24.130. So we don't really have much meat left on the bone for these extensions and ATR on the day. The week is only at 49. Yeah, the week is only at 49. Very strange because the week's at 49%. And the RTH is only showing 100. Oh, sorry, that will update once the RTH opens. But even so, we've probably got about 200 points on the RTH session, and we've already traded on the ETH. We've traded 80 so far, so we've probably got about 220 points, which takes us from the high. I mean, if we go 220 points to the high. Oh, sorry, I was looking at yesterday's RTH, ETH draw. Yeah, 220 would take you to around 24,270s, which would be quite nice. I was looking at yesterday's ETH, my mistake. So we do have range on the day, and yeah, all of these targets could get taken out if we do go up. So that is good to know. I will just adjust. I'm just going to adjust this for a second. So full negative 100 is fine. That gives you 24,165s. Take that off just for a second. I just want to zoom out to see what is more likely. So we've already traded the same anchor new high on Wednesday. That 23 will be at 24,173s. And the full negative 100 on the week from Friday, the full negative 100 lines up at 24,277s. So that is going to be my sort of 100%. If I'm long, I won't be long above that level, right? I won't be long above that level. I will be getting done on the day for sure if we do get up into that area and I am long. So now it's just about trying to find an entry. We're already in this extension from this week, the same anchor new high. So there isn't really an entry here right now. What you have to do is, again, draw a micro extension from this, basically from this composite. So all I would do at that point is, again, what I did yesterday, trade the 61. That has gone to completions. I think it's going to be a case of waiting for, as I just drew. Again, yeah, 9/17. I don't know if we get it. I don't know if we get it, but I will just keep that on there as a valid draw. I think if we don't get that pullback, it's most likely going to be slightly higher, and it'll probably be 9/70s, something like that. So, oops, let me copy that as opposed to dragging it. So these would be my two long levels that I would look for, something down here, or same sort of thing, but slightly lower. So those are the levels that I'd be looking at. Nothing really above for the long side. You can break yearly highs and break and retest and complete those targets. I probably will just miss the trade at that point, unless the RTH has its trend line in line with where I'd want to see a long, such as, you know, holding a halfway back. But right now I don't know what that level will be, so I can't say. So yeah, tricky one to forecast the RT8 session at the moment. If I just draw from what was the low, we haven't yet traded a halfway back. So we may, depending on where we open, we may pop the yearly high, then come down to a halfway back. But I really won't know till the RTH open. I'm not going to try and forecast every single situation or scenario. I'm just going to keep what I can see currently. Once the market opens, we will break it down live on Whoop. But that's all I have so far. Brilliant week. I think I've taken about 3 or 4 trades, but they've all been pretty decent, bar one small losing trade on Wednesday. Yeah, on Wednesday. So I will do my weekly wrap up on the weekend just to see where I am. And yeah, that is pretty much all I got this week. So everyone on Whoop, I'll be over there in a second. I've got a call at 3:30 UK time, so I will be off the audio at that time. See everyone on YouTube on Monday. And yeah, have a good weekend. Have a good rest of your day, morning or afternoon.